Hello, hello, and welcome to episode 101 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. I'm Christine.
And I'm Sam.
And we unfortunately have some sad news to report in this episode. Funny enough, I have been looking for updates concerning Lolita, the orca, that it was at Miami Seaquarium that was supposed to be released within the year. And just yesterday, it was announced that Lolita perished. And I have a statement that was released from Animal Defenders International that I'd like to read, if that's okay. Their statement reads, "Swim free Lolita. Lolita, the orca, has died after more than 5 decades in captivity. Violently captured off the coast of Washington in 1970 when she was just 4, she spent the rest of her life in a tiny tank at Miami Seaquarium. In March this year, the dolphin company, which owns Seaquarium, finally bowed to pressure from campaigners, including ADI, and announced Lolita would be moved to a pen in the ocean within 2 years. Interestingly, the announcement came after her health started to seriously fail, and she was no longer able to perform. Tragically, it was never to be. Lolita, who was also known as Tokitai and Toki, died yesterday of a possible renal issue after showing serious signs of discomfort. The 22-foot-long whale spent more than half a century in the smallest orca tank in the world, just 80 feet long, 35 feet wide, and only 11 feet deep in places. She had lived without another orca for company since 1980, when her companion Hugo died after repeatedly ramming his head into the tank wall. In the wild, orcas may swim up to 140 miles a day and live with their birth families their entire lives. Matriarchs can live to be 80 or 90 years old. Since 1978, Miami Seaquarium had been promising to build Lolita a new tank, but they never did. Lolita's death is devastating, but please help us ensure that it isn't in vain, and make a commitment to never buy tickets to whale and dolphin attractions, and tell as many people as you can why. If there was no revenue to be made from them, these unspeakably cruel attractions would eventually cease to exist. So, swim free, Lolita. It's tragic news.
Yes, it is.
It's really heartbreaking, but at least she's not suffering anymore.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's the only good thing we can take from it is that she's no longer being held captive.
Yes.
So,
but that it came at a time when plans for her release were being made is tragic.
Yeah, very. And it seems, at least from this statement, that those plans, that they bowed to the campaigners, probably knowing full well she wouldn't live to see the day.
Could very well be.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I hate to start the show off on a sad note.
Yeah.
But wanted to honor her life and her suffering.
Absolutely.
In a little way.
Yep.
So.
And thank you for that.
Yeah. We have a ton of stuff to talk about.
Oh, gosh, do we ever?
So let's jump into it.
Let's do it. So this weekend, we took a trip up to Toronto, and those of you who listen to the podcast regularly know we love a good trip to Toronto. And this time we were going specifically for 2 reasons. One, we were going to see a live performance of the musical Hamilton, which is something we've been wanting to do for a very long time. And we also went for the Burlington Vegfest, which we hit on our way home on Saturday. But first, on our way into Toronto, we stopped, as we usually do, at the Hamilton Farmers Market in Hamilton, Ontario. And our first stop at the Hamilton Market was, of course, our very favorite soup maker, Apothecary Kitchen.
Yeah, Christy at Apothecary Kitchen and Kiki.
Yep.
At
Tale of Two Kikis.
At Apothecary Kitchen. I'm telling you, if anybody ever tells you soup is just soup, this soup is life-changing.
It is.
It's every flavor that we've had has been like, oh my God.
Yes.
This is the best soup I've ever had. Then you have another one and it's like, wait a minute. No, this is the best soup I've ever had.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we did have another of the Kikis, and this is 2 Kikis.
Yeah, apparently both of them go by the nickname Kiki, which is funny.
Christine and Kaylee, who both go by Kiki, which I think is pretty great. But we did have another of their soups last night for supper. We had the carrot ginger orange cardamom, which I call it my favorite of their soups.
I think that's fair to say. I think that it is both of our favorites.
It's just magical. Mm-hmm. The flavor combination is just magical.
Yeah, it's really complex and
and
creamy
and it's got this beautiful citrus undertone, but it's still really earthy and bright. It's fabulous. It's just fabulous.
Yeah.
There's no two ways to explain it.
And like you were saying when we were eating it, when you have a soup like that, you can taste the goodness, you know.
You can taste the nutrition.
Yeah,
you can taste that it is good for you.
Yeah, you can feel that you're being
nourished
as you eat it, which is amazing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we bought 4 soups, and to date we have only consumed one of them, and that is the carrot ginger orange cardamom. Yes. Yeah. And so we still have to sample in the not too distant future the cream of roasted cauliflower.
Yeah.
Which I'm looking forward to. We haven't tried that one yet. That's great. We have the cream of broccoli, which we have had before.
Which is delicious.
It's fantastic. And we're looking forward to that. And then one that I'm really excited about is the spiced vegetable.
Yeah.
It's also a creamy soup, but it's a spiced vegetable soup, which I'm really looking forward to.
Yeah. Yeah, and so their booth at the Hamilton Market, they've recently moved into a larger booth at the market, which is nice for them, and they also sell other things.
They do. They're selling sandwiches and some desserts and some salads and stuff like that. It's really great.
Yeah, and apparently through the grapevine, they may be looking for their
brick
own
and mortar.
A brick and mortar to open up their own place, which would be awesome.
It would.
And
it would be fantastic.
Definitely support that.
Big time.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If you've never been to Hamilton, Ontario, if you're a vegan, even if you're not a vegan, there are a lot of really great vegan options in Hamilton, Ontario.
Yeah, we haven't even investigated all of them yet.
Yeah.
There are a good number of options. I mean, right at the Hamilton Market, of course, there's Apothecary Kitchen, which we've already talked about. There is also a wonderful new place that just opened up in May, Nono's Plant-Based Butcher. Which was our second stop at the market.
If you've been to the market, if you're familiar with the setup of the market, they are in the space where Bring Me Some used to be. And I'm pretty sure that the people running it are actually associated with the Bring Me Some people.
Yes, I believe that's true.
Yeah. So this is, Nono's Plant-Based Butcher. What did we get there?
Oh my gosh. So this is, of course, a fully plant-based butcher shop. So they are selling really wonderful deli-style subs. They also do vegan deli meats by the pound so that you can take home with you, as well as some packaged cheeses and sausages, stuff like that. So that's really great. Christine had the Tuscan Polo sandwich, which was Tuscan chicken. This says pasta.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's supposed to say pesto.
I was going to say, you did not have pasta on your sandwich.
No, it's pesto.
That would be overkill. Okay, so Tuscan chicken, pesto, arugula, red onion, and Nono sauce on fresh Italian bread. And how was that?
It was delicious. So the Tuscan chicken, of course, vegan chicken, is sliced very thin.
It's essentially shaved.
Yeah. Super shaved. And there was a ton of it. And it was just the combination of the pesto and the onion and the hit of the Nono sauce, which is kind of like it's like a vinaigrette, kind of a creamy vinaigrette. It was, wow, chef's kiss. Loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it.
And I had the forget about it.
Forget about it.
And I can tell you I won't. Because it was an absolutely outstanding sandwich. Now, it's actually got a base of vegan pastrami, and I'm kind of shocked that I picked this sandwich because pastrami is not a meat that I would ever gravitate towards pre-veganism.
Right.
Actually, I'm not sure I ever ate pastrami pre-veganism, but I don't know. There was something about this sandwich that was just calling to me. Maybe it was the name. Maybe it was the fact that there were caramelized onions on it, or that there were pickles.
I think it was the pickle that pulled you in.
Well, yeah, I think it was just the combination of things. So we had some vegan pastrami, caramelized onion, mozzarella cheese, pickle, mayo, roasted garlic butter, Dijon mustard on fresh Italian bread. So just this crazy combination of things that I would never necessarily think to put together on a sandwich with lettuce and tomato and all of those wonderful things. This was fabulous.
With an extra F at the beginning.
Seriously. I think I did the extra F because I was deciding between fantastic and fabulous, but we'll take it. But no, it deserves the extra F.
Yeah.
This was one of the best vegan deli sandwiches I've had.
They definitely know what they're doing.
They do.
The sandwich ingredients to bun ratio, perfection,
absolutely perfect,
and that can make or break a sub
that's
sandwich.
half the battle. Right there with a sandwich is the ratio of fillings essentially to bread. Yeah, and they got that right on the nose.
Yeah, they know what they're doing.
They do. I mean, as we were eating it, I was like, you know what, this is good enough to rival grass fed.
Yeah, I think it's right up there with grass-fed.
Yes. And if you listen to the podcast regularly, you know I'm a big fan of grass-fed plant-based butcher in Rochester.
Yeah.
And their vegan meats are just astonishing.
Yeah.
They're so
I think
good.
the difference between No-No's and grass-fed is No-No's is basically like an Italian deli.
Yes.
And grass-fed is like a Jewish deli.
Right.
So you get you get the best of both worlds with both of those.
Yeah.
So.
But it really was fantastic. And another thing I was really, really impressed with at No-No's was the price point.
Really affordable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really, really affordable.
$9.
$9 for these subs.
$9 Canadian.
Canadian, exactly. And so it was just really refreshing to see vegan meals being presented at such an affordable price point.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes vegan food is a little on the pricey side.
It can be.
Let's admit it. It is. And sometimes it's because, the ingredients are expensive.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was surprised to see how affordable their stuff was.
Yeah. It was really, really awesome. So definitely worth the trip to Hamilton Market. And I really am looking forward to going back and trying more of their stuff.
Yeah. And if you've never tried Bring Me Some, that used to be in their space in the market, they have their own brick and mortar now in Hamilton. Definitely check them out because they do fried chicken sandwiches and that kind of stuff. Also delicious. Everything they make, delicious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So check it out.
Don't sleep on either one of those.
No. And so after our stop in Hamilton, we headed to Toronto and decided, because Christine was a little bit under the weather.
Yeah, I don't know if you can tell. I have a cold.
Yeah. So she was not feeling her best on Thursday as we were heading up to Toronto. So we decided, instead of, wandering the streets and all of that, that we would just have a nice relaxing evening, and we would do, we'd DoorDash some food.
Yeah.
And we chose a vegan restaurant in Toronto that we had not tried before. So this was a new to us experience.
It was new to us. But before we get into that, I wanted to say we encountered the most traffic we have ever seen going in and out of Toronto.
It's true.
It was crazy.
It's true.
It took us forever.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, got to say, that same traffic, if we were in LA, we wouldn't have even moved.
No. I mean, it was moving.
Yes.
Yeah, it was moving.
We were never really at a standstill.
No, but it was slow going. And we got into Toronto much later than we expected.
Yes.
So, so like Sam said, we DoorDashed from Hogtown Vegan, which I had heard a lot of good things about, and was looking forward to trying what they had. What did we have at Hogtown Vegan?
Well, you had the Unchicken Caesar wrap.
That's right.
So this was breaded fried vegan chicken with romaine lettuce, bacon bit, sunflower seed parmesan.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a parmesan cheese made from sunflower seeds, creamy Caesar dressing in a flour tortilla. And you had that with a side of mac and cheese and some fries.
Yeah, this was, I mean, I hate to say it, it seems like we're always saying everything is awesome. Not to quote the Lego movie or anything, but
nice.
This, I think, is one of the best Caesar wraps I have ever had in my life.
Cool.
Vegan or non-vegan. It was delicious. Their little breaded fried chicken strips that they made were really good and flavorful. And they make their own in-house bacon bits. Mm-hmm. And the sunflower seed parmesan was an awesome touch. And the Caesar dressing was perfect.
There you go.
I would definitely order that again. And the mac and cheese was superb.
Nice.
They gave us so much of it. I couldn't finish it, and I felt bad about not being able to finish it because it was so delicious. And I got fries also.
Yes.
I probably could have skipped the fries. The fries were also very good. Hand cut.
Skins on.
Yeah, skins on, nice and crispy. Mm-hmm. And, sometimes when you DoorDash fries, they can you know,
Get a little soggy.
They get a little soggy in the back of the delivery guy's pack and everything, but they were perfect.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoyed it. And what did you get? You got the unchicken burger.
Unchicken burger, which was a breaded fried unchicken patty with mayo, pickles, shredded lettuce, and I got that in buffalo sauce. So it's kind of like a nice spicy buffalo chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And this was one where I was going, you know what? This rivals Sean at Good and Evil. So we were managing to find things that I'm like, wow, these are as good or almost as good as my absolute favorites.
Yeah.
Which is saying something.
Yeah.
So this sandwich also was excellent. The unchicken was nice and crispy, but super juicy on the inside, cooked to perfection.
Yeah, and I wish I could have tasted your sandwich, but because of my cold, I didn't want to.
Yeah, we weren't sharing food due to Christine's cold. She just wanted to make sure, since, I was starting back to school this week and everything, that I did not catch whatever it was that she had.
But it was sad that I wasn't able to taste that.
Yeah.
You did manage to break me off a piece of the sandwich from Nono's.
I did.
And that was delicious.
Yes.
So
yeah, we did manage that.
Yeah.
But so, yes, the unchicken burger was outstanding. I enjoyed it thoroughly. What made it even better was the side of coleslaw that I had with it. And this was, again, I'll always say it. I'm a sucker for a good slaw.
You do always say it.
I do always say it. And because it's true, this coleslaw was so beautiful and so tangy, and there was no mayo base. I love a slaw that can bring tons of flavor without the mayonnaise.
Yeah, it was just like a vinegar base.
It was like a vinegar base,
Yeah.
and it was absolutely beautiful. We also got an order of their waffle sticks with chocolate sauce for a dessert because I saw that on the menu and just couldn't pass it up. It's not something I'd ever seen before, and I had to know what it was all about. So these were sticks of Belgian waffle, and they were rolled in cinnamon and then drizzled with chocolate sauce.
Yes, but like a bitter chocolate sauce. So it definitely gave off churro vibes.
Total churro vibes, but with a Belgian waffle.
It was good.
Brilliant. Really, really, really wonderful.
Yeah, that's a really great idea.
Yeah, so enjoyed those thoroughly too. So Thursday was all kinds of food wins.
There wasn't a miss.
There was not a miss.
Not a miss.
Among anything that we had on Thursday.
Yeah.
Either at No-No's or from Hogtown Vegan.
No.
Really great stuff.
It was all good.
It was.
So then Friday, we woke up and...
Well, more to the point, I woke up. You were pretty sleepy on Friday morning, which makes sense.
Yeah, I never sleep in either, and I was like sleepy.
Yeah. And so I was up and kind of did some investigating about where we could get some decent vegan breakfast. Christine, per usual, requested a breakfast sandwich. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to track one down in our immediate vicinity. And so we went with a favorite of ours from a few trips ago, which is Comfort and Kim.
Yeah.
Yep. So a fully vegan coffee shop, cafe, bakery.
It's a chain.
Yes.
Comfort and Kim.
Yes.
And there's a number of them in central Toronto. And their food is really good.
It is. So we got DoorDash again from Comfort and Kim on Spadina.
Yeah.
And we both had their avocado toast. And this is a seed and oat toast with smashed avocado, cucumber, radish, pickled onions, pomegranate seeds, sunflower parmesan, and sea salt.
Yeah, this is not your typical avo toast.
No, this is next level avo toast.
First off, they're also gluten-free, right?
Yes.
Vegan and gluten-free.
Yes.
And
they are, I think it's their slogan is meat-free, wheat-free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the toast this seed and oat toast that they use for their avo toast is like thick, sliced, and loaded with like nuts and stuff. I mean, it's a meal in itself.
Yep.
And then all that stuff piled on top. And I got mine with tofu scramble on top of everything else.
Did.
It was really, really good.
Yeah. It was very good.
It was not a pickup kind of toast. I had to use a knife and fork.
Well, that's because of the tofu scramble.
Yeah.
I did not do tofu scramble on mine. I just went with the standard avocado toast,
Yeah.
and I was able to pick mine up and eat it. Although there was enough avocado on there that I did, end up dropping a little bit here and there, and had to chase it around with a fork. But yeah,
So that was a win.
and
That was a good breakfast.
And it was, and also from Cuthbert and Kim, of course, we got Christina coffee. She got a latte with almond milk, and I got a iced London Fog because I fell in love with the London Fog when we were at,
I believe it was at Eden Cafe
Eden Cafe. There we go. I fell in love with the London Fog at Eden Cafe
in Batavia.
And was really thrilled to see it on Cuthbert and Kim's menu. So I grabbed that, and it was, of course, wonderful. So that is an Earl Grey tea that is, they give a hit of vanilla syrup and almond milk.
Yeah.
And it was delightful.
Those are good.
They are really good.
We should make them at home.
We really should. And so we spent a lot of the day Friday just kind of chilling out because we wanted to make sure that Christine was ready for the two main events of the trip.
Yeah.
Number one, seeing Hamilton on Friday night. And then number two, going to the Burlington Vegfest on Saturdays. We had a chill Saturday.
I was,
a chill Friday.
We had a chill Friday.
Chill Friday.
Yeah. I was really sad to wake up with a cold on Wednesday going, oh no. But I was determined to be well enough to see Hamilton, first of all.
Yeah.
And to go to Vegfest. So, yeah, we stayed in most of the afternoon and did like computer work and stuff and just kind of chilled. And then we went out to dinner.
Yes, we did.
Before the show, we went to Fresh on Spadina.
We did.
And Fresh is also a chain, or there's a number of locations.
There are a number of locations in Toronto.
I don't know if I would call it a chain, but there's a number of locations. And we've been to this location before. The thing I look forward to most from Fresh is their puffed quinoa crusted onion rings. If you're ever in Toronto, at least get the quinoa crusted onion rings.
These are seriously the best onion rings you will find anywhere.
They're delicious.
I've never tasted anything that even comes close to these onion rings.
They so
are
good.
Amazing. They are so crispy and so flavorful, and they are not at all greasy.
No.
So whoever came up with the puffed quinoa crusted onion rings at Fresh,
yeah,
they've got that just completely locked.
Yeah,
it's perfect.
And they serve them with 3 different sauces. You get like a chipotle mayo, you get a hot sauce, and then I think a ketchup.
Yep.
And I always go for the chipotle mayo.
Yeah, the chipotle mayo is the way to go. For sure. But just absolutely beautiful.
And then what else did we start with?
Well, I knew Christine was going to go for the onion rings, and I knew it wasn't even going to be a conversation. Like if I even tried to say, hey, you know what? We've tried the onion rings. Why don't we go with this other appetizer? It was not going to happen. There was going to be a battle royale if I tried to keep her from her onion rings.
No.
So decided that instead we needed to order a second appetizer because there was another one that I was very, very interested in. And those are their crispy dumplings. And so these were essentially spinach, and it was kind of almost like a creamed spinach. It had a nice creamy center to it.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of other lovely things and spices, and all of that, of course, wrapped in a vegan egg roll wrapper. And they were beautiful.
Yeah, they were giving off Rangoon vibes.
Like a crab Rangoon vibe that had that texture.
The texture of the crispy outer and the really creamy
Inside.
inner stuffing
Yeah.
was giving me Rangoon vibes, and they were really good. And I'm telling you, you can go to Fresh and just don't even order a main. Just order all their starters.
Order all the appetizers. They're so good.
They're really good. Their appetizers are really good.
Yeah. And it was served in this, lovely spicy mayo with green onion. And I mean, I was literally, when the dumplings were gone, I was taking the onion rings and dipping them in the sauce from the dumplings because it was so good and I didn't want any of it to go to waste.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, it was delightful.
And I'm glad that our starters were so good because both of our mains that we ordered were a little lackluster.
Yeah, Yeah, they were just okay.
Yeah.
The last time we went to Fresh on Spadina, we had spectacular meals from start to finish. We started with the onion rings, and then Christine got a burger, and I got cauliflower tacos. I also tried their soup, which had been a cream of broccoli and cheese, I believe, that day. And so we had a really fabulous experience start to finish. This was a little bit different.
Yeah.
So the appetizers were spectacular, but then the mains were just all right.
I got the 9-layer burrito, which is kind of bland,
Okay.
to be honest. I think because I had them hold, wasn't there supposed to be jalapeno in there, fried jalapeno or something?
Yes, there was supposed to be jalapeno, and you asked them not to put the jalapeno in.
No, I love the way jalapeno tastes. And I think if this had the fried jalapeno in it, it would have definitely kicked it up a notch. But my stomach does not like jalapeno. So I said, hold the jalapeno. And it was basically just a lot of rice. And I mean, it was okay. It was nothing to write home about. It was not a burrito I would write home about. And I got the sweet potato fries, which were also not the best sweet potato fries I've ever had. They were kind of limp and...
Which was surprising because we've had the sweet potato fries there before, and they were very good.
Yeah.
So it must have just been an off night for those sweet potato fries.
Yeah. So, I mean, it wasn't terrible.
No.
It just wasn't... It didn't blow me away.
Right.
And then what did you get? You got the Cobb salad.
I got the Cobb salad. Since we had been eating kind of a lot of sandwichy kind of stuff, I was kind of desperate for a salad.
Yeah.
If I don't have fresh vegetables, for a couple of days, I get really antsy about fresh vegetables.
Yeah.
Like, I need my greens. So this was a perfectly respectable Cobb salad. I wish that there had been more greens. I do like to have a lot of stuff. I love the toppings when it comes to a salad.
Yeah.
But there still needs to be a pretty substantial base of greens. And I felt like that got a little bit lost. I also felt like there was a little bit too much vegan feta.
Oh, really?
On there. Yeah, it was a little bit overboard on the vegan feta for me.
Okay.
I think you would have absolutely loved it.
I probably would have.
Exactly as it was, because you tend to like more cheese, just like you like more sauce than I do. But all of the ingredients were really fresh. They were crispy. The chicken on top was lovely. The dressing was a tahini ginger dressing, which was fantastic.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, it was a very, very good salad dressing. Like Christine, it was a perfectly good meal, but not something that I would write home about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I guess for me, because we had such a spectacular meal at Fresh before, it didn't quite meet our expectations.
Right.
That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to say the meal finished on a high note as well. So we went from a nice high on the appetizers to a on the main course to on dessert.
Yeah, we got their peanut butter chocolate cheesecake. We got one slice to share because it looked pretty rich. So, and it was delicious.
It was absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
It was creamy.
I enjoyed that.
The peanut butter was nice and peanutty, but not overly sweet. The dark chocolate gave a really, really nice offset to that, just a bit of bitterness.
Yeah.
There were little pieces of brownie, because basically it had a brownie crust.
Yeah, it had a brownie crust.
Had some brownie chunks on the top as well. So that cheesecake, that I would write home about. Absolutely. If I had experienced that on my own, it would have been like, hey, Pookie, guess what? This cheesecake.
Gotta get this cheesecake.
Gotta get this cheesecake. It's fantastic.
Yeah, so it was kind of a sandwich. It was really good, and really good.
Yes.
So...
Yes.
Yeah.
But all in all, we would definitely still recommend Fresh on Spadina, and I'm sure we'll end up there again.
I didn't put anything on the show outline about the show, Hamilton. Do you want to talk about Hamilton?
Well, sure. I mean, I don't know if our vegan listeners are interested in Hamilton, but
I mean, let's just say it was pretty, it blew me away.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Now, it was in Toronto, not on Broadway, so it's a smaller scale.
A little smaller scale, yep.
Meaning that the ensemble, of course, is going to be smaller. They have less room for the ensemble and stuff, but it's the same set with the rotating floor and the minimalist kind of scaffold-like set. And it was more than I expected. and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, for me, it was absolutely revelatory as a live experience. I mean, we've been listening to the original cast recording for a long time.
Oh, yeah. We know the original cast recording.
By heart.
Yeah.
You know, we've got it all down. And
we've, of course, seen the original Broadway casts.
We've seen the filmed version on Disney Plus and all of that. But it's just a completely different thing in a theater.
Yeah. And the actors who portrayed all of the different roles brought something different to each role, which was really cool to see.
Yeah.
The young man that played Hamilton
was phenomenal.
Yeah, he was spectacular.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
As was actually the vast majority of the cast was spectacular.
Yeah,
to
they
be
were
completely
all
honest.
great.
Yeah, firing on all cylinders. The one slightly weaker spot in the whole show for me was unfortunately the song "Wait for It." I felt like that didn't quite go where it needed to go in the context of the show. But
yeah,
you know, probably our Aaron Burr might have had an off night. That's all.
That's possible. And those are some really big shoes to fill.
Oh, gosh, yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
So.
No, I mean, it would be completely unfair to compare any other actor-singer to Leslie Odom.
Yeah.
That just would be
Leslie
wrong.
Odom kind of blows it out of the water.
A little bit.
With that song.
Yeah.
And the amazing thing about Hamilton for me, well, one of the amazing things about Hamilton is the staging. It's so seamless how the ensemble is changing the staging as they're dancing.
Yes.
That
it's all built into the choreography.
Yeah, to the point where if you're focusing on the main character that's in front of you, you don't even see it happen.
Yeah.
You look behind them and all of a sudden the set is dressed for a different scene and you didn't even see it happen. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah, there were a couple of moments, a couple of scene changes where it was like audible. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
Like, did that really just happen?
Yeah. The visuals are pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's not something that you can get by listening to the original cast recording.
No.
So as much as I love it, and yes, we did listen to it the whole way home.
We did.
On Saturday. But I'm so, so glad that we finally got that experience of seeing it live.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, I'm so glad we got to see it. Just had a couple of points that I wanted to touch on before we move on. First of all, if you've tried to order from our website, apparently there was an issue on our end, and we have since fixed that issue, and you can now order any of the merch that we have up on compassionandcucumbers.com. So check that out, and we'll be adding more merch soon. We did get a notification that somebody tried to order and it wouldn't go through because there was an issue on our end. So if that was you, I apologize. Try again.
There you go.
Another thing we wanted to talk about was Sam has a new mentee through Vegan Outreach.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I now have a new mentee through Vegan Outreach. It's really awesome. And so we just want to give a shout out to Micah from Jamestown, New York. We don't know if you're listening, but I'm just really, really happy to be assisting you on your vegan journey. It's really exciting.
Yeah. And I also wanted to mention where we will be in the upcoming weeks. We'll be at the Fredonia Farm Festival August 25th through the 27th. Mm-hmm. Then we're headed to Syracuse for the Syracuse Vegfest Saturday, September 23rd, and we're going to be vending and presenting.
Yes, indeed.
And then Panama Rocks Foliage Festival, which is September 30th and August 1st at Panama Rocks.
That would be September 30th and October 1st.
Did I say August?
You did.
Sorry. Yeah, we're going to go forward and then back.
Yes, back in time.
So I just wanted to get those things out of the way before we move on.
Okay, there you go.
We don't have a recipe this week.
We do not.
We just don't have time, and I'm ill. So
there you go.
I didn't feel like cooking.
No excuses needed. We don't have a recipe this week. It's all good.
So we're just going to jump right into our Noteworthy section. We have some uplifting news in our Noteworthy section. Yeah, we're going to talk about how Ukraine's Lviv vegan kitchen feeds up to 500 war refugees every day.
Yes, this is pretty incredible, and this is coming from an article in Veg News. So in Ukraine, Lviv Vegan Kitchen, otherwise known as LVK, has emerged as a beacon of hope and sustenance for those affected by the ravages of the Russian invasion. Founded by sisters Marta Ostrovska and Oksana Komain, LVK has been providing vital vegan food aid to individuals in need throughout Ukraine since Russian troops invaded the country in February 2022. Before the war, Ukraine had a growing vegan population, with 11% identifying as vegetarians and 2% as vegans, per a study by the Kiev International Institute of Sociology in 2020. When the conflict erupted, Ostrovska and Komain made a bold decision. They quit their jobs, leaving behind their small family business producing handmade jewelry and home decor to devote themselves full-time to LVK, which initially began operations from the kitchen of Vega Room, a friend's vegan restaurant. Our primary goal was to support existing vegans first of all, to help them stay vegan and healthy, Ostrovska tells Veg News. When people hear about humanitarian aid during war, they might think that people will be happy to receive any help, both vegans and non-vegans. Ostrovska shares, but reality does not look that way. Vegans want to stay vegan, and non-vegans want to keep their habits as well. With the armed forces lacking vegan options and refugees facing a scarcity of suitable food, LVK's mission became an indispensable lifeline. Situated in Lviv, a city with a history of cultural exchange, LVK became a humanitarian center during the crisis, giving out free vegan meals to people in need. We were volunteering here and there during the chaos of the first days of a full-scale invasion, and during night, volunteering on the railway station in Lviv, serving tea for evacuated people. We realized there are no vegan options for them at all, and this was time for us to act, Ostrovska says. Lviv's status as a safe haven for refugees meant the demand for aid was high. However, challenges quickly arose. Supply chains were disrupted, making it hard to source meat substitutes. Major Ukrainian producers had ceased operations due to missile strikes and occupation, forcing LVK to adapt by sourcing products from Poland and receiving support from neighboring countries. One bright light came after a chance meeting with Seth Tibbet, the founder of the Tofurky Company. Following the Russian invasion of Ukraine, Tibbet learned about Anastasia Yelenskaya, an animal rights activist who was killed at close range by Russian soldiers along with 2 others after delivering dog food to a shelter near Bucha. This prompted Tibbet to seek out Ukrainian vegans to find ways to help. His search led him to LVK and the sisters behind the operation, who initially asked and received chewable B12 supplements for children traveling through Lviv to safer locations. In 2021, Tibbet, along with several nonprofit organizations, including A Well-Fed World and A Billion, helped the sisters raise enough money to buy a car and improve their supply chain. It's pretty hard, under the best of circumstances, to start a business or nonprofit, and how they have done this rapidly and under the mess of wartime is one of the most heroic stories I have ever heard, Tibbet says. I guess I see their work and my involvement as a tribute to Anastasia Yelenskaya. Last fall, missile strikes challenged LVK's ability to continue operations even further. Navigating the logistical challenges of delivering food aid with limited electricity required resourcefulness. LVK invested in a generator and propane tank to ensure cooking capabilities during the scheduled 4-hour blocks of electricity. Flashlights and power banks have become essential tools, and they have partially transitioned to disposable dishes due to the lack of hot water. The team often finds themselves working late nights or starting early to manage the fluctuating power supply. The Lviv Vegan Kitchen is a prime example of dedicated people doing selfless work that excites me and gives me hope for this sweet old world, Tibbet says. Looking beyond the conflict, Ostrovska and Komain dream of leading simple lives in peaceful towns. Their aspirations extend to giving back to the world that has supported them through these challenging times. Hopefully, with our help, it was much easier for a lot of vegans to stay vegan and for new people to go vegetarian or vegan, Ostrovska says. People need something opposite to the stress and violence they witness and experience, and veganism is the opposite of violence. Those wishing to support LVK in its mission can donate through its website,
which we will link to in the show notes.
Awesome.
Yeah, wonderful work.
Absolutely.
They're doing.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Yes. And so thank you to everyone at LVK for that incredible work that you are doing.
Yeah, something you might not think about. Vegans struggling in times of war to be able to get vegan food.
Yes.
And yeah, my hat is off to them for sure.
Absolutely. And without question.
that brings us to our main topic, which is the Burlington Vegfest.
It sure is. So the Burlington Vegfest is located at Burl Oak Waterfront Park in Burlington, Ontario. And one of the greatest things for us about the Burlington Vegfest, as compared to many of the US-based Vegfests that we've been to, is how activist heavy their slate is.
Yeah, I think we said it last year when we did a show on the Burlington Vegfest, and we're saying it again. They've even improved, and there's more advocacy at the Vegfest now than there was last year.
Yes, there were even more advocacy groups and sanctuaries, lobbying groups, and all of that than there were last year. It was really quite amazing.
Yeah.
And some of the advocates that we spoke to, we want to give a shout out to. We had Ina Maria Toncescu for Canadians for Responsible Food Policy. And as we were talking to Ina, I had the unbelievable experience of suddenly seeing directly across from me none other than Karen Levinson. Now, Karen Levinson is a pretty amazing animal rights advocate in her own right. She essentially ended harp seal hunting in Canada, and she also happens to be the author of one of the audiobooks that I have narrated called Confessions of an Animal Rights Terrorist. Mm-hmm. And so I look up from the table and I'm like, Karen Levinson? And she looks me straight in the face and I'm like, hi, I'm Sam Kenny. I narrated your audiobook. And it was just the coolest thing.
It was. And then there was kind of like screaming and running around, hugging each other and stuff. Oh my God. A lot of that going on. Yeah.
It was really just so super cool. And, you know, having had the privilege of narrating Karen's book and knowing what an astounding human being she is, I did fangirl out just a little bit.
A little bit.
And it was just so flippin' cool because last year when we went to Burlington Vegfest, I was hoping a bit that she would be there with one of the advocacy groups, and she didn't turn out to be. So the fact that I wasn't even looking and there she was. Was so amazing.
Yeah, so she is apparently now a team member on Canadians for Responsible Food Policy team. And the Canadians for Responsible Food Policy are kind of like the AFA of Canada.
Yes.
They are they're lobbying and pressuring politicians on vegan policy and on vegan issues, I guess is the word I was looking for.
Yeah, vegan concerns, vegan issues.
Yeah. So they're a really cool organization.
Yes,
I would
they are.
definitely look into them. Canadians for Responsible Food Policy. Yeah.
We also got to talk with Adrian George and Peter McQueen of the Animal Save movement.
Yeah.
Which is super awesome. We had very briefly met Peter earlier this year at the Right to Rescue Summit at the Vegan Center in Tonawanda, New York. But it was really great to reconnect with him and to talk with Adrian.
Yeah, we had some really great conversations with both Adrian and Peter McQueen. Peter and I were having a conversation about how all of our T-shirts now are just T-shirts with vegan messaging.
It's so true.
That we don't own anything other than T-shirts with vegan messaging.
It's true. We really don't.
Yeah.
Whether we actually want to or not, which I think we always do, but even if we didn't want to, like, we would just be wearing vegan messaging pretty much all the time.
Yeah. He's a really cool dude and loved speaking with Adrian George. She's a really cool person. And she was talking about her rescue guinea pigs that she's fostering. And we had a great time talking with them.
It was really delightful.
Yeah.
Let's see. We also said hello to Siobhan Poole and everyone at the Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary. Cedar Row has been in existence since 1999 and is one of the oldest farm sanctuaries in Ontario. Siobhan and Peter Poole run the sanctuary with help from their two children, Cicada and Patrick, as well as a group of dedicated volunteers. Hundreds of farm animals, including pigs, cows, goats, sheep, donkeys, rabbits, turkeys, chickens, ducks, and geese have been rescued since the sanctuary was established, and each one just as special as the other.
Yeah, they're doing good work there. Cedar Row Farm Sanctuary.
They sure are. And then we have the folks at Ladybird Animal Sanctuary. Ladybird Animal Sanctuary is a compassionate and united force dedicated to advocating for abandoned, abused, and neglected animals. Together with the collaboration of an incredible network of volunteers, foster homes, educators, animal enthusiasts, and immensely generous individuals, their mission is to put an end to the unnecessary suffering endured by domestic animals in local shelters. The organization extends its rescue efforts to cats, dogs, and small animals, focusing on providing a lifeline to seniors, animals with significant medical needs, and those labeled as hard to adopt. Through the transformative impact they've witnessed in countless lives touched by Ladybird's initiatives, they firmly believe that every single life is valuable and deserving of a loving home. Since 2011, Ladybird has successfully rescued and rehabilitated over 1,500 animals from high-volume shelters across Ontario and Quebec. This achievement is a testament to their unwavering dedication to make a positive difference in the lives of these vulnerable creatures. They remain committed to their cause and invite you to join them in their ongoing efforts to create a brighter future for animals in need.
Yeah, they do mostly smaller animals and pets, but they are, I guess, fundraising to try and buy some property
to start a farmed animal sanctuary,
so that they can also include some farmed animal rescues in their work.
But if you ever want to see just a whole bunch of pictures of insanely cute guinea pigs, oh my heavens. And it just turned out that I was looking at the photos of the guinea pigs, and I fell in love with two named Samosa and Vindaloo.
Yeah.
Partially because they were ridiculously cute, and partially because of my love of Indian food.
Yeah.
But it turns out that
Adrian
George was fostering Samosa and Vindaloo, which I just thought was amazing.
Yeah. Small world.
Yes, absolutely. So we just so thoroughly appreciate the emphasis on advocacy at the Burlington Vegfest. It always makes it just a really kind of awesome day for us. Now, that doesn't mean there was no food to be had.
Oh, no.
There certainly was. But I've got to say, as far as Vegfests go, we really didn't eat much.
We spent a lot of time just talking with people, and I kind of enjoyed that we didn't eat a whole lot of stuff.
Yeah, it worked. Totally.
Yeah. I mean, there were a couple of vendors that we have eaten from before. We've tried their food, and we just skipped them.
Yes. We just decided, you know what? We've tried that before. Let's save stomach space for those we haven't visited before.
Yeah.
So, that kind of cut down on our options a little bit. But the first thing we had to eat at the Vegfest were, strangely enough for us, were donuts from Bloomers.
Right.
Bloomers is a fully vegan donut shop located in Burlington, Ontario, and they were vending at the Vegfest, and we walked by and just kind of went, oh my gosh, what are these? So the donuts were absolutely beautiful for starters.
They looked ridiculously good.
They looked ridiculously good, and that's what drew us in. And what drew us in first was their cherry chocolate fritter.
Yeah.
That was the first thing I saw that made me go, we have to try that.
Yeah, I like fritters, like an apple fritter or a bear claw or things like that.
Sure.
Those are... I kind of gravitate towards those kinds of things.
Yeah. So that was what drew us in. And then, of course, the lovely woman who was kind of taking care of the tent mentioned that one of the donuts was filled with a Ferrero Rocher cream.
Yeah.
Now, as you know, Ferrero Rocher are not vegan, but they make their own Ferrero Rocher, which they then put into a cream that fills this donut.
So it's a chocolate hazelnut cream.
It's a chocolate hazelnut. Yeah. Anything chocolate hazelnut needs to head in my direction.
Yeah.
That's just the way it goes.
So we got one of each of those.
We did. And they were both absolutely beautiful.
I thoroughly enjoyed the cherry chocolate fritter. I took one bite of Sam's Ferrero Rocher filled donut and promptly splooped a giant blob of chocolate cream onto my pants.
Yes, she did. Yes, she did. And for the next, 15, 20 minutes or so, you would have thought the world was ending.
Like, oh no, I'm covered in chocolate. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So her
But it was
response to it
delicious.
was a little dramatic, but
It was delicious.
It was absolutely delicious. Both donuts were really delicious. And what I appreciated about them is that for me, a lot of times donuts are what I refer to as the wrong kind of sweet. They just tend to be so hyper sweet.
Yeah.
You know, that the fillings and the frostings tend to be so sugar heavy.
They can be.
That I just can't quite handle it.
Yeah.
But that was not the case with these. I had only one bite of the cherry chocolate fritter because Christine had ownership of that.
Yeah, I kind of hoovered that down.
You did. You really did. But it was outstanding. It had a beautiful kind of sharp cherry flavor that was then balanced by dark chocolate. It was really, really nice.
It was good.
And the Ferrero Rocher filled donuts was incredible. Beautiful balance of chocolate and hazelnut. Yeah, just it was. They were fantastic. They were fantastic.
Yeah, I would have those donuts again. And like you said, we're not huge donut people.
No, we're not. But they had a number of other flavors that really kind of caught my eye as well. It's the second time in a little bit that I've seen something vegan that was Biscoff flavored.
Biscoff is popular.
Yes.
Yeah, it's popular.
And must be becoming more so.
Yeah.
Because seeing that, I mean, so Top Shelf Sweets that we ran into at the Western New York Vegfest a few weeks ago had a Biscoff flavored stuffed cookie.
Yeah.
And now we've seen this Biscoff flavored donut. We didn't try either of them, but now that that's kind of on my radar, like, ooh, people are making Biscoff flavored things.
Yeah,
I have a feeling I'm going to head in that direction pretty soon. Next time I run into it.
I've seen vegan bakers in other countries that have been doing that for a number of years, but it seems like it's just now becoming popular here in the States.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Very cool.
The Biscoff thing. Then we got samples. I love it when people give samples. Like,
Samples
wasn't I
great.
saying that more booths should give out like sample plates and whatnot? But this was like they free samples.
Yes.
From a company by the name of Plant Up that's making packaged vegan foods. And they gave us a sample of their Asian dumpling and their Thai basil chicken with rice meal that they have.
Yes. And both of these were really, really good.
They were good.
Texture was nice. The flavor was nice. I had a little bit of their hot sauce with mine. Christine decided to forego the hot sauce with hers. But just for a packaged food, for something that you are taking out of your freezer to then heat up and eat, I thought these were really strong offerings.
They were. Yeah. We probably won't see those in the States anytime soon, but they did have a list of some grocery stores in Canada that was carrying them.
Yeah, quite a few grocery stores, actually, which I think is really great.
Yeah, so the company, again, was Plant Up. And then we got a free package of tempeh from Henry's Tempeh Incorporated, which is a local, from Kitchener, Ontario. They're a local tempeh maker.
Local tempeh maker.
Yeah.
Yes. And we haven't tried their tempeh yet.
Haven't tried it yet.
We got a free package of their tempeh crumble, which we're really looking forward to using. And along with that, we got a beautiful printed sheet with a recipe for their tempeh crumble tacos, which look absolutely beautiful. And so we may go right ahead and use the tempeh crumble for their tempeh crumble tacos.
Yeah, I think we should try that out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. Now, back to what we actually ate at the Veg Fest.
Yes.
I decided to go with Idle Vital Restaurant, which is a Caribbean-based restaurant, and I got their roti plate.
Yeah.
And that was a absolutely ginormous chickpea roti. Yes, folded up and then covered with no fewer than 8 curries, 8 Caribbean curries.
Yeah.
And these ranged from squash to roasted eggplant to chickpeas to what I believe was their plant-based short rib. And they were gorgeous. And because all 8 of them were kind of melding together on top of this roti. Like anytime you took a piece of the bread and kind of scooped, you got multiple curries going on at the same time. Or even if you took a fork and took a bite, you got multiple curries at the same time. So you just got this incredible mixing and blending of flavors that I absolutely loved.
Yeah, it was good. They gave you a lot of food too.
It was.
Yeah.
It was a fair amount of food. Now, I didn't finish the entire roti because it was huge.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if we were going to be eating anything else. And so I didn't want to completely fill up on one thing. But the curries in particular were really, really wonderful.
Yeah, I got a taste of it. It was good.
Yes.
And then while you were at Idle Vital, which I believe is a Toronto-based restaurant, I went to Mexico, which I think is a Burlington vegan Mexican restaurant.
Okay.
And I got their taco de barbacoa, which was very good.
I only had one little bite at that.
Yeah, that's because I wanted the rest for myself.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I got a soda with it.
A Mexican cola. Yep.
Very good.
Yeah. And that really was the extent of our food consumption at the Vegfest.
Yeah.
Everything else that we purchased in terms of food was stuff that we brought home with us. So last year, we missed out on the strudel ladies because they were sold out by the time we got to their booth.
No more strudel.
No more strudel. So we decided not to make that mistake again. And so the very, very first time we passed by the strudel ladies, we stopped and we got ourselves one of their wild blueberry strudel.
Yes, there was a very kind bearded man manning the strudel.
Who did not look at all like a strudel lady.
I said, you don't look like a strudel lady.
Yes, but we got their wild blueberry strudel and we have tasted it since we got home and it is wonderful.
It was good.
Oh, so good. Nice flaky pastry.
Super flaky.
Super flaky. Yeah. And the filling, like you can tell it's wild blueberry.
Yeah, little wild blueberries.
And again, the kind of the sauce that is, the blueberries are like steeped in.
Yeah.
Again, not overly sweet. It really lets the blueberry speak for itself. It's really good. And we still have some left.
Yeah, these are big strudels.
Yes.
They're like the length of like a loaf of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And absolutely beautiful. So
yeah.
Yeah, we got that. And then I just had to get a couple of pies from Apocalypse Now because I'm sorry, number one, the name. It's just
Apocalypse Now.
Apocalypse Now.
Yes.
Amazing.
They make pies and vegan pizzas.
Yeah. They were selling their frozen pizzas, but given that we had a couple hours left to drive, and the traffic actually made it a longer trip than we were expecting, we decided not to go with the frozen pizzas, but we did grab a couple of pies. One I actually bought for my supervisor at work, who had a bit of a rough week last week, and I decided that he could use some pie.
Pie fixes everything.
It really does. So got him a pumpkin pie, and then for us, we got their peach bourbon spiced caramel pie. If those words together just don't immediately tell you how good this pie is, I'm not a huge fan of pie in general. Kind of like donuts. It's just not the right kind of sweet for me.
You don't gravitate to pie.
I don't.
Yeah.
I'll gravitate towards a brownie any day, but pie is not usually on my radar. But this peach pie is just ridiculous. It is so flavorful, and the peaches were so just fresh, and they had a nice kind of, not exactly crunchy, but still a very
they still had a little bit of a bite
texture with a nice bite.
Yeah, they weren't mushy. Yeah.
No, and again, not overly sweet. The sharpness of the fruit really came through. It wasn't, completely dampened down by sugar.
Yeah.
And the bit of spice going on in there and the bit of caramel going on in there. Like it was a really complex flavor profile.
Yeah.
But from the very first bite, I was just like, oh, wow.
Yeah, it was really
seriously good with this.
Yeah, I was kind of blown away by it, and I think it would be really good with a little dollop of some vegan vanilla ice cream on top.
I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't have any vanilla ice cream around, but yeah, I can definitely see us returning to Apocalypse Now in future.
Yeah.
Really beautiful.
Yeah, so that was the food. And like Sam said, we didn't eat a ton of food.
No.
We spent more time talking to people and at advocacy booths. And I just love that there's just so many things to do there. They have speakers all day long.
Yep.
They had a live band all day long. Well, not all day long. They had a live band at one point. A vegan band, by the way.
Yes.
Yeah.
A band led by a vegan activist.
Yeah. Which is really cool. Lots of great speakers and political booths and advocacy booths, and just there was close to 100 vendors. And they blow me away at how well organized they are.
Yes.
Given that it's the second year. I was blown away the first year they did it.
Oh, yeah.
You would never have known it was the first time that they put that together.
You really wouldn't.
They have tons of great people who volunteer. They call them vegan tiers. They have vegan tier on the back of their T-shirts. The garbage thing, let me tell you about this.
Yeah.
This is fantastic. Throughout the park, they have a stand with 3 cans for different types of garbage.
Yep.
And at each stand, there is a person, a volunteer standing there telling you which can to put which thing in.
It's beautiful.
So compostables, recyclables, and then actual trash.
Right.
So that there's no confusion. They have someone there pointing to the correct can for everything you're trying to throw away, which I'm just amazed by that.
It is. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely incredible that degree of detail.
They have a full program, both
Yes.
printed and online, like a 5 or 6 page program that lists every vendor, that lists the schedules of all the people speaking, maps, of course, of where every vendor is located, and all kinds of other really useful information. They were holding a food drive. It's just, they blow me away every time.
Yes.
And I'm really looking forward to next year.
Yes. So am I.
But what other vendors did we visit while we were there?
We also visited our friends at Sick on Sen. They have some of the most adorable and original vegan T-shirts, buttons, stickers, and magnets.
They do.
Out there.
I got a T-shirt that says "Hail Kale," and what does it say?
Hail Kale and Praise Satan.
Yeah, "Hail Kale" and "Praise Satan."
Yep.
Yes, very cute.
Very cute.
And they gave us a couple of magnets.
Yep. And I got a few pins to put on my bag. The closure of my bag is becoming a vegan pin collection.
Yeah, you got a lot
so I
of
got
pins.
some buttons.
A lot of pins.
Got some buttons.
Yeah.
Then I had to stop by Lavish Earth for some absolutely fabulous vegan soaps. I got soaps from Lavish Earth last year, and their Satsuma and Citrus is one of my favorite soaps I have ever used. It is so beautifully scented. It's just a really wonderful, moisturizing, like nice texture on your skin kind of soap. Absolutely love it. So we did that. Of course, we had to go check out the booth of the Plant-Based Treaty. They were a sponsor of Vegfest.
Yeah.
And I finally got the Plant-Based Treaty sweatshirt that I've been wanting for a couple of years.
Right.
Yep. Was super psyched about that. Thank you for getting that for me. It was kind of on the down low that you got that for me, but you were buying a shirt at the same time and it just made sense to
just put it together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're
thank
welcome.
you for that.
You're welcome.
And we spent some time listening to Stephanie Braganza Band, led by animal activist and musician Stephanie Braganza.
Yeah.
And that was pretty much our day. We definitely want to thank Lori Croonan, who is the lead organizer of the Burlington Vegfest, and of course the whole team of amazing volunteers. It really is a phenomenal event. If you're ever in the, northwestern New York / Southern Ontario region this time of year, you really need to get to this Veg Fest. It's fantastic.
I would say you should put it on your do not miss Veg Fest list.
Yep.
If you're ever in the area, because they do such a fantastic job with it. I can't say enough. I can't say enough good things about it,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, we had a great day. The location is beautiful. I think we already mentioned that. It's beautiful Burl Oak Park, and it was fabulous. The weather was perfect.
It was perfect. Last year it was a little too hot, but this year it was breezy, and there are so many beautiful shade trees in this park.
Yeah.
So you can just kind of grab your food and plant yourself underneath a tree.
Yeah.
It's it's just wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's right on the water. It's
I
really,
love it.
really, really nice. So thank you again to everybody at Burlington Vegfest for giving us a great day.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's move on to our 72 reasons to be vegan. Do we have a reason to be vegan?
We do. We have a reason to be vegan. And this one, usually I try to tie things to either our main topic or something in the Noteworthy section, something like that.
Yeah.
But this week I'm actually tying it to two things. One of them is the fact that at the Burlington Vegfest, there were actually three, now that I think about it, vegan ice cream vendors.
Okay.
And I love vegan ice cream.
Mm-hmm.
Like I really love ice cream in general, but for there to be options for vegan ice cream gets me really excited.
Yeah.
But we didn't try any of the ice cream.
We didn't.
So there's that. That's number one. And also as a shout out to our listener shout out, which we will get to in just a moment.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Okay. So this week's reason to be vegan, of course, coming from 72 Reasons to be Vegan, Why Plant-Based, Why Now, by Jean Stone and Kathy Breston, is reason number 5. Cow's milk is kind of gross. Here's an idyllic scene. The kindly milkman deposits a carton of fresh milk in lovely glass bottles on your doorstep. The milk is from the local dairy farm where the cows graze lazily in lush green fields. It's creamy and delicious and is a product of only the happiest cows. Drinking this lovely product makes you strong and healthy. Everyone wins. It's a perfect picture of paradise. Except it's not paradise. Dairy milk isn't perfect, and it certainly doesn't come from the happiest cows. On modern dairy farms, cows are both genetically and chemically manipulated to produce a lot of milk. Like a scary amount of milk. 30 years ago, the average dairy cow produced a little over 13,000 pounds of milk per year. More recently, she squeezes out more than 21,000 pounds, an increase of 61%. This is the result of the dairy industry selectively breeding cows to produce huge amounts of milk, all while injecting them with a cocktail of antibiotics and hormones to make them produce even more. This is true even for many smaller-scale farms. In order for dairy farmers to remain competitive in such a consolidated industry, their cows have to produce as much milk as chemically possible. Plenty of people assume that female cows always produce milk, but like humans, cows only produce milk after they give birth. If she's not producing milk, the cow is not profitable for the farm. For this reason, the vast majority of dairy cows undergo artificial insemination soon after they stop producing milk. Quite literally, a worker holding a load of bull sperm inserts their arm up a cow's vagina to impregnate her. Female calves eventually become dairy cows too, and because males can't produce milk, they are typically locked up in crates, slaughtered, and sold as veal. The cows are milked relentlessly for 10 months until their milk production decreases, and then they are artificially impregnated once again. Because of the stress associated with producing such extreme amounts of milk, dairy cows often suffer from a condition called mastitis, a painful and often fatal, for cows, inflammation of the mammary glands and udder tissue. In response, the cow's immune system pumps out somatic cells, which are composed largely of inflammatory immune cells that form pus. Mastitis is so common, the USDA reports that 1 in 6 dairy cows suffer from it, that there are approximately 1,120,000 somatic cells per spoonful of cow's milk. In case you missed it, that's pus that comes along with the milk. Cows can normally live 20 years or longer. Dairy cows rarely reach their 6th birthday. So how about sticking to plant-based milks? There's nothing gross about an oat milk latte or coconut ice cream.
And that does tie in beautifully with our favorite portion of the show. It's time for our listener shout-out.
Woohoo!
Just want to give a shout out to all my fans watching. I love you guys. I love you.
And this week's listener shout out goes to Jenny Johnson, owner of Isotope Vegan Ice Cream and Desserts in Rochester. Jenny made the trip from Rochester to Buffalo to bring us 2 of her ice cream sandwiches at the Western New York Vegfest, and they were so good. Thank you so much for listening, Jenny, and thank you again for your so thoughtful gift.
Yes, thank you. And contact us with your t-shirt size and address, Jenny, so we can send you a CNC swag bag. You can either email us at compassionandcucumbers@gmail.com or DM us on Instagram or Facebook.
And that brings us to this week's housekeeping.
Let's wrap it up, people. We're going long. We want to try your favorite vegan recipes, and we want to include them in our listener recipe segment. So email or DM us the vegan meals that you love to make. Send us the recipe so we can try it.
If you're looking for things to subscribe to, we've got a few for you. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can subscribe to our bi-weekly newsletter. You can also subscribe to our Patreon. All of the links are in the show notes.
Yeah, and I just today posted a video from Burlington Vegfest, and thanks to Sam, who noticed a typo in my opening slide that was missing the G in Burlington. So yes. I deleted the video and re-uploaded it with the correction.
Yes.
Thank you, Sam.
Count on me to find the typos.
Hey, you can find us on Happy Cow. If you don't have the Happy Cow app and you're a vegan, you should get that Happy Cow app, and you can find our reviews. I am under Compassion and Cucumbers, and Sam is listed under CNC Vegan.
Yes.
On the Happy Cow app, and she's been furiously typing in everywhere we go, typing in her reviews.
Yes, I love it when we go somewhere that has a lot of vegan restaurants and we get to sample multiple of them in a short period of time, because I can just Happy Cow review like crazy. I actually really enjoy doing it. All right. We have a fundraiser going on for the Food Empowerment Project on our Buy Me a Coffee site, and this will be our last fundraiser through Buy Me a Coffee, but we will be matching your donations. If you are not aware, the Food Empowerment Project seeks to create a more just and sustainable world by recognizing the power of one's food choices. They encourage healthy food choices that reflect a more compassionate society by spotlighting the abuse of animals on farms, the depletion of natural resources, unfair working conditions for produce workers, and the unavailability of healthy food in low-income areas.
And follow Sam's Etsy site, Cucumber Craftworks, and take a look at her beautiful knit scarves, handmade jewelry, and bead art. It's all vegan and all made with so much love.
Would you like to get a listener shout out like Jenny did today? If you would, send us a DM or an email letting us know you listen and tell us a little bit about yourself.
You can leave us a review on your podcast app if you'd like, if it allows. If it doesn't allow you to leave a written review, you can always rate us on your podcast app, and we prefer 5 stars.
If you can't rate or review, next best thing, go ahead and share the show with a friend or family member that you think would enjoy what we do, or go ahead and share our social media. It is the easiest way to support us or any of your favorite content creators, and it costs you nothing at all.
And finally, join the AFA Vegan Voter Hub and give to them monetarily if you can. The Agriculture Fairness Alliance is lobbying on our behalf in Washington so that our vegan voices are heard. If you want to make real change on the upcoming Farm Bill, please join the Vegan Voter Hub.
And that brings us to our sign-off. You have just listened to episode 101 of the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast. There's nothing left to say, but where cukes and compassion are always the fashion, on the podcast.
Thank you, James.
Have a great week, everyone.
We'll talk to you next Tuesday.
We love you.
Bye.
The end.
If you'd like to support the Compassion and Cucumbers podcast, well, you can do that by hopping on over to our Patreon page and becoming a patron. We have all the recipes from our vegan kitchen series up there, and we'll be adding some patron-only episodes in the near future. So thank you for supporting us at whatever level that you choose, and thank you again for listening to Compassion and Cucumbers podcast.